This is the Wing Woman Show. Are you ready? You're listening to The Wing Woman Show. Today's guest is the incredible Liza Garcia. She is the founder of Now Publishing, a rapidly growing publishing company based here in Tampa, Florida. And she's also the author of Never Drink Coffee During a Business Meeting. So thank goodness I already drank my coffee today. She has been on both sides of the publishing process. So I'm really excited for you guys to listen in on our conversation today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Morgan. I'm so excited for us to finally connect and do this.
I know, yeah. So since I know you personally, I know that a career in publishing was not always your first career. So walk us back to the very beginning of your career journey and how you transitioned into publishing.
Sure, thank you. A little bit of a story. And can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So because I've got a few years under my belt here, but basically I found myself hired by IBM Rome when I was a junior in college, and did a summer job with them and was just going to go back and finish my degree, and they offered me a job as a design engineer. It was an IBM company, so I became an IBM engineer, finished my degree, of course, and got transferred up to Seattle on a big account, and after about a year of that, I was in my 20s, early 20s, I quit. Because that's what you do when you're young. You're like, oh, this is not working out, and I can get other jobs and all that, right? So I quit completely, and within 6 months, my boss's boss called me back and said, we want you to come back to IBM, but we want you to come back as a subcontractor. And that birthed my technology company. It was 27 at the time, and I had that company for up to 16 years, brought it to market in 18 years in total. And my clients were all enterprise-sized clients. It was Nike and NASA and Coca-Cola, all the top Fortune 100 companies, and had an office in Portland, office even in Utah at one point, office in Seattle, employees, the whole works. It was in tech, and it was great. So I did that, and loved being in tech. And then I got a job as again in tech, Cisco Tech, VP of technology for a company in Oldsmar. So I moved from Seattle to Tampa about 7.5 years ago as that VP, thinking I don't want to ever have a company again. I'm not going to start a company again. Those days are done. Been there, done that. I'll just be a VP 8 to 5 job, so to speak. Well, within months, I wrote a book, and that book is Never Drink Coffee During a Business Meeting, which is funny because Starbucks was one of my clients, so there's a story about that engagement. Yeah, it was, so that's why it's on there. And that when I wrote that book, I did learn the journey. I had a publisher in New York. I learned that author's journey of publishing, and within the promotion of that book, I went on a Barnes & Noble West Coast book tour and so on. During that promotion, I met the gal that had this idea for this publishing company. So I co-founded Now Press Agency, which is Now Publishing, 5 years in March. So I find myself, I know, just like yesterday, it seems like that I said, you know what, I think I'm going to go for it. But so I did, and it's been almost 5 years, and love it. Absolutely love it. And what I love is it's this outside perspective that I had looking into publishing that has really formed and shaped our company. And I believe there's no one out there like us.
Oh, no, 100%. Yeah. So how many books have you published in the 5 years?
Well, we're probably around the 50 because I know I kind of keep track of the ISBNs that I've bought.
Oh,
so
right.
I'm out of them, actually. Yeah. So we're approaching that. We have about 7 books that are releasing within the next 60 days. So it's crazy, but yep.
So when you were doing your, the Barnes & Noble's book tour and things like that, were you thinking about starting your own publishing company, or were there holes in the process where you were like, oh, I could do this better?
I was absolutely not thinking of starting a publishing company. No, no way, no how, who would want it? How would I don't know what a book cover wrap is. I don't know what copy editing, CE editing is. I don't know any of that, right? And I had a very strong content editor that helped me finish my book, so I was very fortunate on that part. But no, it was really what really impacted me when I was an author and doing the West Coast West Coast Barnes & Noble tour. I went to California, Seattle, Utah. I want to say Portland, but I don't remember going there. But when I was doing that, what I was really impressed with is I had hired PR agencies, PR agents. I think I went through about 4 or 5 of them that my publisher in New York told me to do that. They said, this is what you need to do. And I had hired so many of them, looking at their pitches, looking at what they do, looking at what they don't do, and looking at what worked and what didn't work. And that's what got me to actually fire. I remember the day I fired my last PR agent when I was sitting in my car in Utah, going on air on a morning show that I booked. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with this picture? I'm paying X amount of thousands of dollars. I'm the one that got me on air. I can do this. This is not cool. So that was, and that's why in our company today, we provide 6 months of PR to our clients.
Yeah.
Someone's got to promote their book. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
I
that's
wasn't
what I
even going to
thought.
bring that up until the very end, because that is one thing that is so different that really separates you from other publishing companies, is that you are so hands-on with your clients even after the book is already finished, with the launch process and the PR. And it's so special because you don't see a lot of publishing companies putting that much effort and energy and just like love and care behind their books after they're launched.
Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you so much. And you know, I've never had anyone say it that way, of being hands-on, but we talk about it as a team all the time. You're 100% right. We manage them through the process. We have check-ins with them, not just a weekly author check-in, but then we'll have a Wednesday to make sure that we can, you know, help them along. And it's in our team, within our team, when we talk about that hands-on and what we do, what we say about it is, you know, we're expending so much of our time and energy and attention on our clients that we expect that to be a respectful and positive relationship. And when it isn't, and when, just like every relationship out there, some of them are, you know, givers and some are takers and some are not good and some are good. When it becomes not good and when it becomes one-sided on the client side, we, as our team here, we really stand back and say, you know, do we want to continue this?
Right.
You know, and, but it is, I thank you for recognizing that. And I agree. I think that's a lot of our success. And I think that's a very little known secret of us when clients come on, and I don't think they expect it. And then, but we do have a lot that do appreciate it and see it. And we love them.
Yeah, well, I think that's why we align so well together, is because we care so deeply about their individual products or their projects like they're our own. Like, it's like when you're launching a book, you feel like it's your book you're launching. So you get so invested in it. You've been able to work on so many different book launches, the actual book launch side of things, separate from the book. What has been the most successful launch you've worked on, and what elements do you think really contributed to its success?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And I thought you were going to ask at the end of it, you know, and what's different this year? Because definitely, you know, this year has changed and will change,
Right.
I believe. Absolutely. But, you know, there's definitely elements that we have improved on in book launches. For instance, we now write the speech of what they're going to read at the book launch. It is effective when you have an excerpt read. We also have this thing where we highlight the book in areas where I might get up and say, you know what, I love this part of the book. So we have those things that are just part and parcel with what we do. We do things like make sure that we have bookmarks that we now, people in our team are going around and handing to people to interest them in the book. So we've learned those kind of things as far as, you know, ancillary stuff. But, you know, we find that it's just key. I mean, to me, when I looked at this business, I had a widget, and in my old company, it was professional services only. But with this widget of a book, it really is an idea of put it in front of your target market, put it in front of your client. It does not, I will not sell a book that's sitting on Barnes & Noble shelf that I'm hoping the person's going to walk by, see it, and be that right demographic. So in the book launches, we really make sure to put it in front of those people that are going to buy it. If it's a children's book, I better pack the bookstore children's sections with moms. I mean, it sounds obvious, but I've been to other people's book launches as well. And other than their friends and family, there's no one new there. And that's why we have to work and think out of the box. And we do. We try to every time.
Right. Okay, well, that's very exciting. So then on the book side of things, when it comes to writing, formatting, or just editing a book, what are some elements that you feel are really important for the success of that book?
Right. Well, first and foremost, the cover. The book cover wrap is so key, right? So it's that anatomy of the sale of a book. So what happens is, where does your eye go? Just like when we're looking online to get Amazon, book covers, what grabs your attention? So there's a couple exercises that will tell our authors, go to the bookstore and see which one pull your
Right.
eye, catches your eye. And we have them, you probably do this too, where you have them, have them put them out on the shelf then, and look at it and compare. And they'll also see what's trending right now. There is a trend in book cover colors. You'll know when the greens are out. You'll know where the yellow's out. So, don't get another yellow book, right?
Right.
Maybe. But that cover, and the cover has to do with not just the colors and the way that it's presented, but what is the tagline? What is that, chapter title? We have a business book, Get Out of the Corporate Cave. Now, I don't love that title because it's kind of too many words, but it's a good one. It's great. Get out of the corporate cave. I haven't heard of it. It's unique. So book wrap is so important, and I can tell all day long a self-published book cover, someone that had their brother do it, or someone that maybe
Right.
had 3 choices, and we don't skimp. We give our clients, I'd say on average they get 50 different color cover concepts. I've gone up to 70 or 80 because I really want to make sure it's the one we fall in love with. It's the right one. Yeah, it's a huge. Again, it's a huge part of the anatomy of the sale. And then the other part of the cover is you turn it over, and what is that blurb on the back? And is it a professional headshot or not? All of that. What is going to make me open the book and go to the next step and the next step? And there's about 5 steps in the whole thing before they buy. So you've got to be right on target on every single step, or they're going to get someone else's book.
Wow. Yeah, no, those are great tips. Especially, it's so funny because our next guest on the podcast is actually, all she does is design book covers. And I'm so excited to have her on because I already came up with the title of the podcast, and it's going to be Judge the Book by Its Cover. Just because
that is good. That is good. Judge the book by its cover. And people do. People do. People, just like, we know, we're not supposed to, when we meet someone right away within how many seconds, we're not supposed to judge them. We're not supposed to decide what their background is, what their education level is, what their economic status is, but we do. It's a human nature thing. So you're right, judge the book by the cover. Yeah, I love that.
Thanks. So what trends do you see and changes in the publishing industry when it comes to books, especially now with the coronavirus, or just regular trends going into the new year?
Yeah, I do. For sure, there's the trend that people want to make a difference. They do. And so that translates to books in terms of, and we're actually even hopping on the train in marketing starting tonight. Actually, I just printed some flyers that says, what do you want to do in 2021? Come to us, let us publish and write and help you write your book. So I think that, those people that didn't do something fabulous during this shut-in time, now they're like, okay, now we're almost out. What am I going to do? And now that I've been refocused in my life, it's not all about my job. It's not all about this or that was in my life. It's about making a difference. So I love that we're in that publishing industry where we can help their content make a difference. So I do see that. The other thing I see is, and believe it's, and it's just public knowledge, that Audible books are the fastest growing segment.
Right.
We produced our first Audible book this year, and now it's an offering we have for self-published and our own clients. And it's key. Again, just that whole, look at the marketing of widget of a book as the widget, where your book needs to be available everywhere. It needs to be all types of formats, Barnes and Noble, Kindle, and so on. It seems so obvious, but I, again, will come, a lot of people call themselves publishers too. So there's just, there's all that out there in the marketplace and the industry, but I still come across people that say, oh, well, my book's only available on Amazon, or I never printed my book, and it just makes me crazy because I'm like, are you trying to sell your book? Are you trying to get your message out, or what? But yeah, those couple trends.
Well, those are great tips. So for someone listening who has a big goal to write a book in 2021, or maybe it started in 2020, what is the publishing process like for them? Because I think thinking about writing a book and publishing it can be extremely overwhelming. So could you break down the process for us and just give us like a time frame?
Absolutely. And that is the biggest obstacle. People can't put their arms around becoming a published author, right? So we do help that. So there's a couple ways. So we do actually have a program that is a month-to-month program where you write chapter 1 in January, we write chapter 2 in February, and we lead you through. And then by November, we launch your book at this big collaborative book launch. So we did that all through 2020. I talked to you about that event. That event's coming up, and that's really not just it's not just the book in that. You also get to build a community with the other authors and a network, and we teach you everything within those 11 months that you need to know about publishing, and even teach you do the graphics for your bookmark, write the speech. So we do all of that in 11 months. The other process is, on average, from a person that wants to write with us to publish, is 5 months. So it's usually on average 5 months, because it is based on the client's timeline too.
Right.
We want these books to be authentic. We are not a house that's a ghostwriter.
Right.
We will help you with the writing. We will lead you through, but it needs to be the authentic person's, content.
Right.
So about 5 months is the process, and how we start is, if you decide to go with Now Publishing, we do something called a book build mind map with you as our first meeting. It's about a 3.5-hour meeting, and we build all 10 chapters with you, and then put together a schedule. And then we start, like you said, with weekly check-ins, and we handhold and manage it, and it's just a great thing. And just like you had said before, we are so proud of the book as much as the author is. We all have to be proud of that, and we are. We're just, when it's done, it's like the best day.
And it's just manageable, because it's month to month. And you have just like a set goal of a chapter. It's a chapter a month, you said?
Yes, a chapter a month. Yep.
Okay. So what is that program called? We'll make sure to link it down below too.
Thank you. Yeah, we're filling the seats. It's called the Great Write-Off. So WRITE, the Great Write-Off. And the Great Write-Off too, we're limiting it to 15 seats. And your time commitment is, you come in for lunch every last Friday of the month, and I buy you lunch, and we have a 2-hour meeting, and it's really cool. And it's, like I said, I'm really excited if people can join us. We are doing the big collaborative book launch on the 19th of November. We'll put that in the link.
Yeah, we'll put that down below too. So what is something that a author, or a future author, I should say, should come prepared with when they come to meet with you?
Yeah, well, come with, if you have any of your writing, people come with journals, people come with something that's speech to text, whatever you have, but it's really where we will lead you through it. So we will ask the questions and keep digging, because, our competition is Amazon. Are you kidding? We're never going to beat SEO Amazon. There's a book is uploaded every 5 minutes, just like a YouTube.
Wow.
So there's all of that out there. So we want to craft your book in the unique way that only you can. So just come with readiness, really, because we really pull it out of you and make sure it's unique. And it's really amazing when we have clients come out of the meeting going, I had no idea that this is going to be my book, and now I love the title. We'll come up with the title in that meeting, by URL sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just really this fabulous mind map.
Well, that is so exciting. So I'll make sure to include all the links down below, because I know a lot of our listeners have big dreams and ambitions to publish a grand book one day. So where can they best connect with you online?
Yeah, our website is publishwithnow.com. So Publish with Now. You can search us up at Now Publishing, but it's just very easy. Publish with Now Publishing. You'll find us. We're out there. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and just sharing all your golden nuggets of wisdom that you picked up about publishing and helping our listeners write their dream books.